I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. And today I'm going to discuss caregiving a little more. I've talked about it in the past. I am, 8 years into caring for my mom, and I love caring for my mom. I don't regret 1 minute of it. It's been quite the adventure. She's still with me. She's 92 years old, and she's in the very advanced stages of Alzheimer's. And I tell you what, she is the sweetest, most loving person that I know. And honestly, I get a kick out of her. She can't speak anymore, but she has so much personality in the way she looks at you, and you can still see that little spark in her eyes. And anyway, I'm going to take a break and I'll talk more about this. And I promise you this isn't going to be a downer. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. And as I said, I'm going to talk about being a caregiver for my mom a little more. I've talked about it before, but a year or whatever it's been since I talked about it, and it's getting interesting. I must say, she's really advanced into Alzheimer's, and she's bedridden, and I'm dealing with bed sores, and I'm dealing with things I hadn't had to deal with before. Plus she's not mobile at all anymore. So changing her is interesting, and but like I said, she still has that little spark, and I have to feed her, change her, do all that stuff now, and it's just kind of my way of life, really. I work a full-time job. I have my sisters watch her while I'm at work, and then I come home and I watch her for the rest of the night. I get her ready for bed, put her to bed, I feed her, etc., 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 clean her up, the whole 9 yards. But what I love the most about it is just this close time with my mom. She's 2 feet away from me right now, and it's a strange thing. I know she's really advanced in Alzheimer's, but I always feel that she understands and hears me. I fear, and what a horrible thing to think about, is she's still in there, and she understands, and but she just can't vocalize. It's kind of a scary thought, really, but maybe I'm wrong, but it's weird to just talk about her with her right in front of me. She's making a little noise right now. So that's why I think I know she's hearing me. It's kind of strange. But what I love most is feeding time. I always put a movie on for us to watch, and I feed her. And here lately, she's not been wanting to eat, but I managed to get her to down some mashed potatoes and an Ensure, and always a glass of water. And I've been watching Thriller, hosted by Boris Karloff. I bought the entire season set, and it's kind of keeping me enthralled. I don't know that she pays attention to it, but she does kind of stare at the TV. We share a good laugh because I have very bad vision, and I have to turn several lights on, and I'm very, sometimes I miss her mouth. I got her nose the other day, and she found that hilarious, and we both laughed until we cried. And, like I said, she's still there. Her sense of humor is still there. I've always been really close to my mom. I was close to my dad. My relationships with my mom and dad were very different. My dad was my movie buddy. we watched a lot of TV together. We'd go to the movies. We did a lot of father-son stuff. We liked the same things as far as movies and stuff. We didn't share... Actually, he didn't share my music love. He loved Bing Crosby and stuff like that, but he was not accepting of Olivia Newton-John and that stuff. But my mom, I could watch Grease with my mom, and my mom loved music, and I bought her a CD player one time, and she really enjoyed listening to music, and my dad just didn't like having music on. He didn't like noise. So, but me and mom shared the love of that stuff. Anyway, and like I said, I have very different relationships with my mom. I used to come home from work when I lived here, and I would go sit by her bed and talk about my day. And I didn't know at the time, but she really loved that. And when I stopped doing that, for whatever reason, I think because I was working midnights, and I couldn't do that, obviously. But I love talking to my mom. She's a good listener. And my mom was a whiz at money. Oh my gosh. She could make a dollar stretch. I wish I had her abilities to stretch money. I'm terrible with money. I like to spend it. She was very frugal, and she had to be that way, raising kids, and she was in charge of the money fully. I'm afraid I make a mess of things there. But like I said, this journey started 8 years ago, officially. I think it started before then with my mom, and it's very gradual in a way, but it's very quick in another, because I can look at how she looked a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and to see her, you know, at the top of her weight and being mobile and getting up and talking and eating ice cream and things that we take for granted that we're able to do, and to see her now basically totally relying on me, and I'm having such a hard time doing this with her in front of me. I don't like to go in my room for any more periods of time than I have to. So I'm spending a lot of time sleeping on the recliner these days, which is not the most comfortable way to sleep, but I do go crawl in bed and stretch out. I work on my feet, so I have to get some rest. And her doctor told me to take care of yourself. That's something as a caregiver that we tend to forget, people that caregive, is to take care of ourselves, because we're so hell-bent on taking care of our loved ones or our charges that we're taking care of. So anyway, I have to stretch out, because being on my feet, I'm almost 60 years old. Well, let me not say that. I'm 57. I'm approaching 60. And it's hard for me to stand on my feet for long periods of time. Plus, I've gained a lot of weight. And that's not good in any way, shape, or form for a man my age. But it is what it is. And it makes it hard. My feet swell and this or that. So, yeah. I'm just... Everything I've learned as I went along. I learned by asking questions. Someone told me not to share my experiences too much, but I'm just like, I have a lot of nurses that come into my store that are really friendly and who have followed me along on this journey, and they're good to give advice. And also, I join Facebook groups. I've said all this before, where I can see other people's stories. I don't necessarily post my story, but I see a lot of people who get so frustrated with their loved ones that they just want to scream. And luckily, I've been very fortunate. My mom, there were times, I had to go scream at a pillow, and I actually punched a hole in the wall once and felt like an idiot afterwards, because she was being stubborn, and I was frustrated. And this before I got on anxiety medicine. And then once I did that, I was like, oh, you dummy, you gotta fix it. Thank God my dad taught me how to fix drywall. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did punch a hole in the wall. I don't even remember what I was mad about, but I just left in here, went in my room and shut the door, and I meant to just tap the wall and it went right through. But I sound like a horribly violent person, but I'm not. And that's really true. I'm just not that violent of a person. I do have a temper, but I'm just saying the frustration you can feel when you're caring for somebody is just crazy. And we all go through that. And some people share that stuff on Facebook or what have you. And that's fine. That's a good way to vent. But people that judge other people because the way they're feeling is not right. They shouldn't do that because they have no idea how frustrating it can be. But like I said, I've been very fortunate. My mom's been mostly a pleasure. She's been very sweet, and she's had her moments. She's knocked me in the face a couple of times, and I think she knocked one of my sitters in the face, and she's got a mean right hook, I'll tell you. She knocked my glasses off one time, and I like to never found them. I'm so blind. It's like Velma and Scooby-Doo. I'm down there filling for my glasses. I really can't see without my glasses. But she's genuinely pleasant, and I noticed when I'd get caregivers, she always connected with the female caregivers better. She loves when my sisters watch her, especially my sister Kim, and my sister Cindy. I'm not sure what goes on with Cindy. Cindy doesn't really share it with me. I know Kim, her and Kim have always been buddies, and I think she genuinely reacts when Kim's here too, and my sister. And I had a couple of caregivers. I had a former coworker that would, do girl stuff with her. And I had some really good caregivers that I dearly love and I dearly appreciate. And I'm going to shout out to Jackie and Sam and Betty and my friend Cheryl. And if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. I've had a few come and go. I've had some bad experiences, I'm not going to lie, but, more good experiences than bad experiences with caregivers. But you can't do things alone. You've got to have help. And there are groups and there is help out there for, if you need it, for caregiving and caregivers. I found a lot of those, the Department of Aging didn't suit my needs because I work a 40-hour job. I need someone here while I work my job, and that's why my sister lives around the corner, and Cindy's a sweetheart too, just like her mama, and she comes over and helps. And like I said, my sister Kim, she's currently vehicleless right now, so she can't come over at the moment, but they've been a world of help, to say the least. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and I'm talking about caring for my mom. And I just want to share some humorous stories. I've had some really good times with my mom. When she first... There was just some funny stories. You've always got to find the humor in things. When my dad first passed away, that's when she really kicked into Alzheimer's full time. And something slipped in her the night we buried Dad. And she became fearful of her deceased ex-husband. And she wanted me to put a chair in front of the door because she's scared he was going to break in. Now, that doesn't sound funny, and it's really not, but I thought, okay, it was just a little something I could help her to make her feel secure. So I would put the chair in front of the door, and she would feel much secure. After Dad died, she didn't want to sleep in her bed. She did for a little while, but eventually she slept on the couch. So she was in the living room, and that door kind of made her nervous. Now, she did a couple of times. At the time I was on midnight shift still, so a couple of times she would leave the house and while I was sleeping. And one time she walked uptown and she fell, and the nice lady at the drugstore that she fell in front of ran out and patched her up, as my dad would say. She cleaned her up a little bit, and she said, "Where do you want to go?" And she took her to the bank and brought her back. And I was just like, holy cow. I woke up and I had no idea she left. So working midnights was becoming a problem. But she took out a couple of times. She fell quite a few times. It was really a hard thing. It was very hard when she was mobile, because she would also, I've talked about this, she would put the coffee pot on the stove and turn the burner on and melt the handle on the coffee pot. So I had to take all the burner knobs off. Just things like that. And I think back to those days, and I think it was way more difficult when she was mobile. Kind of a nightmare, because I really had to watch her. Plus, she would make messes, personal messes, and get up and it would be all over everywhere. And I would have to call my sister to come help, because I'd be trying to get ready for work. And plus, she used to steal my clothes. I woke up one day and she had my underwear on that I had laid out for work. And then the whole find my dentures, she would take her dentures out. And one day I looked over and she had them stuck in the chair. Like, it looked like Jaws. We had looked everywhere for her dentures and couldn't find it. And I sat down the chair and looked over there, and I thought, there they are. And I have a video of that. Her teeth were stuck in the little groove in the couch. Stuff like that was funny. Plus, she got to where she couldn't distinguish television shows from reality, so she would be talking to the TV, and sometimes she'd be arguing, and for some reason she reacted to the Ellen show more than anything. She enjoyed the Ellen show, and she would interact with Ellen, and I guess she thought her and Ellen were good buddies there, I don't know, but it was kind of cute to watch that. But what I enjoyed most is watching. My mom responds to music very well, and we watched Grease, and she loves the movie Grease. And of course, me being a big Olivia Newton-John fan, she was subjected to that movie more times than she probably should have been. But I didn't realize how much she really enjoyed it, because she'd get up and she liked to do the Grease lightning dance like John Travolta. I also have a video of that. We had some good times. I would watch movies we watch a lot of movies, period, but I would watch movies on New Year's Eve, and I would usually do musicals, and she reacted very well to Grease and would sing along, and she'd always go, ooh, 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 honey. She would do that, and it was very, very cute. And then she didn't care for Xanadu. She liked Xanadu later when she kind of got advanced, but there was some little, what she would call vulgar dancing in that, and she did not like that. She still retained her religion for many, many years, and I think she still retains her religion to this day, but she's Pentecostal, and they talk in tongues, and she would talk in tongues quite often. and she'd praise Jesus all the time. And she kept her religion for as long as she could, up until the last couple of years. But she still responds well to gospel music and things. Music and Alzheimer's, I swear, my grandma could play the piano when she had Alzheimer's. And she was self-taught, and I still remember that when she was in the nursing home. But my mom's the same way. My mom never really played an instrument or anything, but she did love music. And like I said, she still responds well to music. That's one thing that still kind of gets to her. And I think that's just purely amazing. Also, it was funny. We came across a home video. My nephew converted it to digital video, and we were watching home videos from years ago, and when we were young, and she was recognizing us as the younger people in the videos more so than she recognized us now. So she was calling, there's Cindy, and it's kind of in her mind that's what we look like, not what we look like now, which Cindy's now in her early 60s, and I'm, like I said, I'm 57, so we're not the young people we once were, to say the least. But it's strange how she responded to older pictures, and it's weird though how she kind of has shut out my dad's memory. I think it hurt her so bad when he passed, and I'll never know. My mom and dad loved each other immensely. I mean, they had a relationship that only they understood, and a closeness. They just didn't work well without each other. When my mom would go on trips and leave my dad would, he wouldn't even sleep in there. He would lay on the bed, but he wouldn't take the covers off. He would totally relax, and he didn't sleep well without her. And he kind of hated when she left. It was really kind of heartwarming and cute, but yeah, he just missed my mom. And even when he was recovering in the nursing home, he was actually there for rehab. He worried about my mom a lot. So when he died, it's just like I said before, something slipped in her, and she kind of put his memory out. And I don't like to bring him up to her too much. I would show her his picture, and she would kind of hold the picture to her heart, and cry a little. It was, I don't know. That's so heartbreaking. I love my mom so much. And it's strange, and I've said this before, that I am 57. I've never had children. I've never been married. Hard to believe, I know. Who wouldn't want to get with this, right? But but anyway, here I am at this later age in my life. Always been kind of by myself, and I lived by myself for a few years and enjoyed being by myself, and always would work overtime and all the overtime I wanted, and I put work first. And here I am in the later stage of my life, and entering my golden years, and I'm responsible for my mom. It's like I have a child almost. She is my child for all intents and purposes, and that's such a lifestyle change. And not like I've had to call into work a couple of times because my sister was sick, or the sitter couldn't come, and I had no choice. And a lot of times it's last minute, which where I work, that's a nightmare to do that to anybody. And I feel so guilty when I have to do that, but I've got to take care of my mom. She's first. And it's almost like I have a child. So anyway, that whole lifestyle change has been something to get used to. Also, not only it's kind of funny, I started working day shifts, so I worked midnight shifts for years and years, and I flipped to day shifts, so that was a change, but I've got to where I don't want to say I'm a morning person, but I got to where I enjoy working days because I used to hate it because I like to be off at 2 o'clock. And I love to come home to my home life with my cats and my mom. So anyway, I'm going to take a break, and my voice is getting a little bit raspy, and I will be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. And it's a reality that my journey with my mom will end someday, and I often wonder how that's going to be. I really do not look forward to that at all. It's going to be so quiet and almost lonesome. I have cared for her so closely in the last 8 years, and it's a new relationship with my mom. Like I said, it's almost like my child, and I just can't imagine life without her. But it is a reality, and I don't know. I don't look forward to dealing with that. It's going to be a strange thing. And this house is the house I grew up in, and I already feel like it's a sad old house because once it was bustling with family and noise and good times, and a lot of times I don't have any noise in here. My cats kind of keep it interesting, but it's a dirty mess right now. There's something that's been hard for me is trying to be everything: house cleaner, caregiver, breadwinner, everything, and it's something I'm not the greatest at, like dealing with money. I'm not good at that. But house cleaning, I'm definitely not. I'm a walking disaster area. I literally can sit in my little chair here, where my little snack table, and mess the whole house up. Now, how I do that, I don't know, but I do that. I mess the whole house. My cats help, but it's so funny. That's about me, though. My mom, oh God, if she could see this house right now, she would kill me. And my dad would too. My mom and dad worked real hard on their house, and my dad vacuumed this carpeting every day, and he kept a 40-year-old carpet looking brand new, and he kept everything in working order up until he couldn't do it anymore. My mom cleaned, and when I would come over and like say I'd come over and get ready for work and throw my clothes down, she would always wash them and iron them and hang them back up. It was kind of like the laundry fairy, the stuff I miss. Things I miss about my mom: I miss her cooking. I miss her conversations. I miss her advice. I miss when I was a little kid, there was nothing like sitting on my mom's lap and her rocking me and the sound of her voice on her chest. That's something I'll never forget. That sounds so weird, but the comforting sound of my mom's voice. She can't talk anymore, and it's strange how I've forgotten my dad's voice. Sometimes I do have videos of him, and I have to go watch the videos because I thought, oh my God, I've forgotten what he sounded like. Same goes with my mom. She can't talk anymore. And anyway, it's strange. But man, what I give for her homemade chicken strips, and the way she cooked potatoes was amazing. She just had that mom touch on everything. Her iced tea was amazing. And my dad, he'd cook Sunday dinner, and his Sunday dinners were always amazing, except that one time when he made Spam with onions. Don't even ask. That was disgusting. Not Spam. It was the beef version of Spam. My dad did not eat pork. He ate beef. And so there was a beef version of Spam I believe it was just called Beef Original, huh? But I digress, as usual. My mind tends to race all over the place. My mom was a natural caregiver, and she was good at it. And I mean, she would go over and clean my house while I was at work. I'd come home, my house would be cleaned. Just stuff like that I miss. I've always been used to being taken care of, so it's been such a role reversal for me to have to take care of someone else. But like I said, and I said this I think before about caregiving in my other podcast, it's very, very, I feel very fulfilled. I feel like have had a purpose in life. Oftentimes I thought, why the hell am I here on this earth? But it's maybe sad to some people to think that it was just to give care to my mom. I don't think that's the case. I don't mean it like that, but to care for somebody the way I've been caring for her, the way people care for their kids, the way, that kind of caring, is something I think that we all should go through. And I think it's something God intended us to do. So, people that they go through a whole life of not having anybody to care for, I can't imagine that they feel very fulfilled in life. But I feel very fulfilled. So do not feel sorry for me. I really think that this is a journey that God intended me to go on, and I'm very led to take care of my mom. And I do this for my mom first most. I do this for my dad, who would have wanted me to take care of her. I do it for me because it's paying back a debt that I feel I owe my parents for helping me so much. And I'm sorry if I dragged my sisters by their hair along the way. I can't speak for them. They both have families and lives on their own. My parents were my life, So I do not ever, ever, ever regret one damn minute taking care of my mom. And do I love every minute of it? Well, no. But I'm getting ready to change her and feed her. Now I'm not looking forward to the changing. That's something I don't look forward to, but I do enjoy getting her comfortable and ready for bed. And I'm going to put Thriller on by Boris Karloff, and I'm going to feed the kitty cats, and I'm going to go do my nightly thing, and then I'm going to go to bed, and I've got to get up at 5 a.m. and go back to work tomorrow. So I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to wrap this up. And thank you for listening. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I've been talking about caregiving again. I've done this before, but I thought I had more to add, so I thought, well, I'll just talk about it some more. I do what I want. This is my podcast. If I want to talk about stuff again, I just will. But anyway, I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate the positive input I get. I'm glad you enjoy it. Spotify for podcasters is changing up, and they're taking away their user tools, and I've got to learn a new system, and I still haven't set my setup yet. I figured my season is about up. I do 20 episodes a season. This is season 3. I forget which. I think I'm on 16 or 17. I have 3 more episodes. I'm going to try to time that with the changeover with Riverside FM and see if I can't take a break to learn the new podcast system. I have a few tools that I've obtained. I would like to set up a little mini studio where I can podcast. I enjoyed this format way more than what I'm going to have to do, because I could literally lay in bed and podcast and produce it and edit it and add the music all from my bed. And it was so relaxed. I'm actually podcasting from my recliner right now in the living room. So I've got what is on the television. Archie Bunker's Place is playing on the television. I've got it on silent. So Carol O'Connor has been my audience here. And my mom, she's just a few feet away. My cats actually have left me alone through this whole podcast. When I do this in my room, they pester me the whole time. But for some reason, they have left me alone and I don't even see them. So that can't be a good thing. But like I said, thank you for listening. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing this podcast, and I absolutely plan to continue it one way or the other if I have to learn a whole new system. So thank you for following me on Spotify, and thank you for everything. I'll be back again soon with another podcast. I am Leonard Briggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. And again, thank you so much for listening. Until next time.